Diversification is known as the only free lunch in investing. So I put my portfolio through an AI tool to see how diversified I was. Am I eating or am I going hungry? Let's find out.
I cannot wait to find out, Ren. So how do we check our own diversification beyond just using an AI tool?
Yeah.
And I think there are some major, there are a few things to think about. Firstly, it's all about the risk. So how much do your investments overlap in terms of the risk that they're exposed to? So we've spoken about, are they all exposed to the US? Are they all exposed to Australia? Secondly, how likely is that to materialize, or how likely are those risks to materialize? And then thirdly, how negative would it be if they actually did materialize? Like, what impact is it going to have on your portfolio? And I think about a lot of people that might have just experienced this for the first time, you know, the market pullback that we just saw and everyone being heavy US tech, a really good opportunity to reflect on that and think about the exposure that you may have had and think about diversifying globally.
So Bryce, as I said, I put my portfolio through AI. I just asked ChatGPT to give me an assessment of how diversified my portfolio was. Now, for the purposes of this exercise, I didn't include my core portfolio because I know that that is well globally diversified. So currently I own 22 stocks. So just so people know, just very quickly, just names, no weightings. In Australia, in alphabetical order, BHP, Botanics Pharmaceuticals, Catapult, Cochlear, Guzman y Gomez, HitIQ, Mass Group, Mineral Resources, Macquarie Group, ResMed, WiseTech Global. And then in the US, Axon Enterprise, Coinbase, Deere, Alphabet, Jumia Technologies, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, C Limited, Shopify, Supermicro, Spotify Technologies.
Nice.
Okay, I know that was quick.
Response?
Yeah, but we'll unpack them in more detail because all I did was ask ChatGPT, gave them the names and said, assess how diversified this portfolio is. And it was pretty comprehensive, the response. So...
You sound surprised.
Well, yeah, I was surprised.
ChatGPT is awesome.
Yeah, I guess I just never thought of it in this use case before. So it had 6 different categories in which it assessed my diversification. So the first one was count and concentration. Mm-hmm. And it said, I hold 22 stocks, which is a healthy number for reducing individual company risk. But diversification isn't just about how many you hold, it's about where you're invested.
Perfect. Aligned
That's
with
good.
what we said.
Exactly. So number 2 was geographic exposure. And ChatGPT gave me a tick and said decent global reach, but heavily tilted towards Australia, 11 out of 22 stocks, which may expose you to domestic, economic, or political risks. It told me to consider more non-Australian exposure if I want geographic balance.
Nice. Also good.
I guess that aligns with what we...
Which makes sense. Over half your portfolio, exactly.
Yeah. All right. What about this?
What about sectors?
Sector exposure. So it separated all my holdings into sectors. Technology being the biggest sector with 7 of the 22. Healthcare next with 5 of the 22. And so it gave me a tick. It said, well diversified across sectors, though tech and healthcare dominate at over half the portfolio, and minimal exposure to utilities, energy outside of mining, or traditional consumer staples.
Nice. So all those 3 we spoke about, count and concentration, geographic, and sector exposure. Are there any different ways that it's cut it up?
Yeah, so the next one was market cap and growth stage, which is something we haven't really spoken about, but it gave me a tick. Good spread across growth stages, which gives you both stability and upside potential. Thematic exposure was the next one.
Nice. Yeah.
I got a tick there as well. I'm liking the amount of ticks I'm getting. Strong thematic tilt towards future-facing industries, but a warning, some overlap in themes, e.g. tech and healthcare heavy, may amplify volatility during market rotations. Certainly what I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, then the final category was a category on suggestions to improve diversification. So here's what ChatGPT suggested. Consider adding traditional consumer staples like Woolworths or Unilever, utilities or infrastructure like APA Group and Transurban, It also suggested consider adding ETFs or LICs for sector or country balance. And then finally, energy transition exposure like lithium, renewables, or nuclear.
I'm going to say that there's something in this analysis that ChatGPT, I think, has missed completely, which is assessing it in the broader context of assets classes that are available.
That's fair. Yeah.
So it hasn't kind of gone, here's what I suggest, but you're also missing gold,
infrastructure,
crypto,
property.
And it's like you're overall still very long equities.
Yeah. Well, ChatGPT is still learning. But look, the final verdict, according to ChatGPT, is I'm 80% of the way there. My portfolio is sector diverse, balanced across growth stages, and forward-looking in themes. But it is overweight Australia and underweight staples and defensive. And I have high exposure to volatile and growth-heavy sectors. So I think, it doesn't know everything, but ChatGPT can certainly be a good resource to just put your own portfolio in and see what it thinks. Because diversification, as we said earlier in this episode, is something that a lot of investors, at least in our opinion, are getting wrong.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much for the question. We love hearing from you. There'll be a link in the show notes or the description below for you to leave a voice message just like Chris did, or you can head to equitymates.com/contact if you would like to write to us. A reminder as well that we have all of the Get Started Investing episodes now available on its own YouTube channel, Get Started Investing. So if you want to watch all of the content, if you're listening to us at the moment on a podcast, make sure you head over there. There'll also be a link in the show notes. As always, Ren, though, great to chat stocks. I might throw mine through the old ChatGPT as well to see how diversified I am. But until then, we'll pick it up next episode.
Sounds good.